All right, so we're diving deep into some seriously intriguing stuff today, folks. Some theories about Gotham's most notorious villain.
Of course. Gotta be the Joker.
The Joker.
Huh?
You guys gave us quite the stack of sources here.
Yeah.
Arkham interviews, these mysterious MOPA reports.
Mm-hmm.
Our mission is to unpack what they tell us about the Joker's true origins.
Yeah, and what's fascinating is there are two main schools of thought here.
Cool.
Each with its own compelling evidence.
Lay it on me.
You got, on the one hand, this theory that Joker is something ancient, something evil, maybe even something non-human.
Yeah, the Arkham interview with Dr. Kellerman really leans into that.
Right.
I mean, he straight up says, I'm not human.
Yeah.
And the way that recording just cuts off.
It is wild, right?
Just his laughter echoing.
Chilling.
It's chilling.
And what's even more unsettling is the context.
Okay.
This isn't just some random boast.
Mm-hmm.
He says this after this series of pointed questions from Dr. Kellerman, questions that seem to touch on something deep, something personal, almost as if Joker's probing the doctor's psyche a bit.
And then we have the escapes.
Right.
Vanishing from a locked cell.
Yep.
Reappearing as if nothing happened.
Like it was nothing.
It's like magic, the MOP report.
MOP.
It's a Meta-Human Observation and Protection Agency.
Yeah, right.
They track him to Miagani Island.
Okay.
And then, poof, gone.
Yeah, just like that.
Back in his cell. Like it was all a magic trick.
Right.
If he's just a man, how do you explain that?
It certainly lends credence to the idea that there might be something more to Joker than meets the eye.
Right. Right.
That Joker is the result of some, science experiment or accident gone wrong.
Okay, so this is where things get really interesting.
Yeah.
His file actually lists instilling terror through laughter.
Yeah.
As one of his abilities. That sounds less like a naturally occurring quirk and more like a weaponized psychological tool.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It raises the question. Was he intentionally created this way?
Yeah.
Or was he the victim of some unforeseen consequence of scientific experimentation? Remember, Joker is public enemy number 2 on the MOP watch list.
Right.
They clearly consider him a significant threat.
And get this, even Batman seems to struggle with the true nature of the Joker.
Oh, wow.
In his own personal logs, he labels Joker public enemy number 1.
Interesting.
So even the world's greatest detective seems to grapple with understanding what he's dealing with.
It speaks to the deep enigma that surrounds the Joker.
Right.
Is he a force of nature, something ancient and malevolent, or is he a product of our own hubris, a terrifying example of science gone wrong?
So we have these two seemingly disparate theories.
Yes.
Yet both find support in the evidence.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
So where do we go from here? We got Arkham interviews that hint at something ancient and otherworldly.
Yeah.
And then we have these MOPA reports suggesting he might be something more, scientifically manufactured.
Right.
It's like we're dealing with two different Jokers here.
That's the truly fascinating part, isn't it? It's almost as if he embodies both the primal fear of the unknown and the chilling possibilities of our own scientific advancements. Maybe the answer lies somewhere in between, or perhaps it's something else entirely.
Well, we're just getting started, and I have a feeling this deep dive is only going to get more perplexing from here.
Oh, for sure.
So let's shift gears and examine some specific details from these sources to see if we can shed some light on this captivating mystery.
I think a good place to start would be with the paleman sightings.
Okay.
These reports, they date back centuries, and while they're often dismissed as folklore or urban legend, there's a chilling persistence to them.
Yeah.
Could this be a clue to Joker's true nature? Or is it simply a red herring? Let's dive in and see what we can uncover.
So
These paleman sightings, they're really intriguing.
Yeah.
They're scattered throughout Gotham's history, often appearing during times of great upheaval or tragedy.
Oh, interesting.
Almost like he's drawn to chaos.
Like he's a harbinger of doom or something?
Right.
But is it really the same entity throughout history? I mean, how could one being exist for centuries?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Some theorize that it's a supernatural entity.
Okay.
Capable of possessing individuals throughout time.
That would explain how he seems to defy time and space.
Right.
Appearing and disappearing at will.
Exactly.
But wouldn't there be some consistency in his appearance? eyewitness accounts vary wildly.
But that's where the idea of possession gets interesting.
Okay.
If he's inhabiting different bodies throughout history, his appearance would naturally change.
That's a good point.
Right.
But it still doesn't explain the Joker's specific obsession with Batman. Why would an ancient entity care about a vigilante in a bat costume?
Perhaps Batman represents something more to the Joker.
Okay.
Something that transcends time.
Like what?
Maybe he sees Batman as a symbol of order. The antithesis to his own chaotic nature.
So their conflict is like a battle for Gotham's soul. A struggle between order and chaos.
Exactly.
Wow.
It's a theme that resonates throughout history.
Yeah.
And perhaps the Joker is simply the latest manifestation of this eternal conflict.
It's certainly a compelling theory.
And let's not forget that MOPA mentions instilling terror through laughter as one of Joker's abilities. Could that be a side effect of some experimental procedure?
Right.
Or is it something inherent to this ancient entity?
It's like trying to solve a puzzle with half the pieces missing. We have these tantalizing clues, but they don't quite fit together.
Right.
Speaking of missing pieces, what about the murder of Dr. Kellerman?
Oh, yeah.
It's clear from Batman's logs that he suspects the Joker. But how could he have escaped Arkham and committed the murder?
The timing is certainly suspicious.
Yeah.
The Joker vanishes from his cell. Shortly afterward, Dr. Kellerman is found dead.
Right.
And let's not forget the Joker's unsettling remarks.
Oh, you mean like when he says, "I know you're in there, doctor"?
Exactly. What did he mean by that?
Yeah, it's almost like he knew something about Dr. Kellerman.
Right.
Something personal.
Yeah.
That went beyond the usual patient-doctor dynamic.
Perhaps the interview wasn't just a psychological evaluation.
Okay.
But a reconnaissance mission. A way for the Joker to gather information. To probe Dr. Kellerman's weaknesses.
Yeah.
To find a way to exploit him.
That paints a very different picture of the Joker, doesn't it?
It does.
Not just a chaotic madman.
Right.
But a cunning manipulator, a strategic thinker.
It certainly adds a layer of complexity to his character.
For sure.
And it raises the stakes considerably.
Yeah.
If he's capable of such calculated actions, then he's far more dangerous than we initially thought.
It also makes me wonder about his escapes from Arkham. Are they really escapes?
Yeah.
Or are they something more orchestrated, something he planned all along?
That's a question that has plagued Batman for years.
Right.
The Joker seems to disappear and reappear at will. Always one step ahead of the authorities.
Yeah.
Is it magic? Technology?
Right.
Or is there something else at play that we haven't even considered?
Well, it's clear we're dealing with something truly extraordinary here.
Absolutely.
But I'm still struggling to reconcile the ancient evil theory with the scientific experiment angle. They seem so fundamentally different.
Perhaps that's the point.
Okay.
Perhaps the Joker is a fusion of these two seemingly disparate concepts. A being that embodies both the primal fear of the unknown and the chilling possibilities of our own scientific advancements.
So are we saying that the Joker could be both a supernatural entity and a product of science gone wrong?
It might seem far-fetched, but consider this. What if there was an ancient evil, a force of chaos that has existed for centuries, and through some scientific experiment, it was inadvertently given a physical form?
You're saying that science might have awakened something that should have remained dormant?
Precisely.
Wow.
Imagine a force of chaos.
Okay.
Trapped in some metaphysical realm.
Yeah.
Suddenly finding a way to enter our world through a scientific experiment gone awry. It would explain the Joker's seemingly impossible abilities.
Yeah.
His chaotic nature and his obsession with disrupting order.
It's a terrifying thought.
It is.
But it also makes a strange kind of sense.
Right.
It would certainly explain why he's so difficult to understand, to contain.
Exactly.
He's not bound by the rules of our world.
He operates on a different level, playing by a different set of rules. And that makes him a truly formidable opponent.
Yeah.
For Batman and for anyone who tries to understand him.
It's a lot to process.
Sure is.
We've got ancient evils, scientific experiments, and a healthy dose of psychological manipulation.
Right.
It's like we're peeling back the layers of an onion.
Yeah.
And with each layer, the mystery only deepens.
And who knows what we'll find at the center of it all.
Right.
Perhaps the true nature of the Joker is something we're not yet equipped to comprehend.
So we're left with this idea that Joker is like this fusion of ancient evil and and science gone wrong.
Right.
It's a lot to wrap your head around.
Yeah.
But is there anything in the sources that, supports this idea?
There are a few intriguing details.
Okay.
Remember that report that mentioned they tracked him to Miagani Island?
Yeah.
Well, Miagani Island has a long history of strange occurrences and urban legends,
Right.
many of which predate modern Gotham. Some even connect the island to the paleman mythos.
So maybe the island itself holds some kind of significance for Joker?
It's possible.
Like it's a place of power for this ancient entity or something.
Yeah.
A conduit to our world.
It's certainly possible.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, it raises another question.
What's that?
Was Joker drawn to Miagani Island for a specific purpose? Was he seeking something there?
Okay.
Or was he trying to tap into some kind of power source?
That makes his escapes from Arkham even more intriguing.
Right.
What if those weren't just escapes?
Yeah.
But strategic retreats to recharge or reconnect with this ancient power?
It adds a whole new layer of complexity to his actions.
Right.
It suggests a level of planning and foresight
that
goes far beyond the impulsive chaos we usually associate with the Joker.
And it makes you wonder about his endgame.
Yeah, what is he ultimately trying to achieve?
Is it simply chaos and destruction?
Right.
Or is there something more sinister at play?
I think it's safe to say that his motives go far beyond mere amusement.
Right.
He's playing a long game.
Okay.
One that spans centuries and perhaps even realities.
It's a chilling thought.
It is.
It really makes you wonder, can he even be stopped? If he's this ancient, powerful entity, how can anyone hope to defeat him?
That's a question that has haunted Batman and perhaps Gotham itself for a very long time.
Yeah.
The Joker seems to operate on a different plane of existence, unbound by the rules that govern our world.
Right.
He's a force of nature, a walking paradox.
Okay.
A living embodiment of chaos.
And maybe that's the point. Maybe the Joker is meant to be a reminder of the inherent chaos of the universe.
Right.
The unpredictable nature of reality.
He's a force that can't be controlled, only contained.
Right.
And even that is a tenuous proposition at best.
And perhaps his true purpose isn't to destroy, but to disrupt.
To shake us out of our complacency.
Yeah.
To force us to confront the fragility of our own sanity. To make us question the very foundations of our beliefs.
It's a disturbing thought.
It is?
But there's a certain twisted logic to it.
Right.
He's the ultimate agent of change.
Yeah.
The embodiment of uncertainty. The catalyst for chaos.
And in a world that increasingly seeks order and control.
Right.
Perhaps that's the most terrifying thing of all.
So after diving deep into all these sources, exploring these chilling theories, where does that leave us?
Honestly, I think we're further away than ever.
Really?
The more we learn, the more questions we uncover. He's a puzzle box with infinite layers.
Wow.
A riddle wrapped in an enigma.
But that's what makes him so fascinating.
Right.
So enduring.
Absolutely.
He's the ultimate villain.
Yeah.
The embodiment of our deepest fears. The reminder that chaos will always find a way to disrupt order.
And perhaps that's the most important takeaway from this deep dive.
Okay.
The Joker may be a fictional character.
Right.
But the questions he raises, the anxieties he embodies, they're all too real. He's a reflection of our own darkest impulses.
Yeah.
The reminder that even in a world of logic and reason, there will always be a place for chaos and madness.
Well, there you have it, folks.
That's right.
2 compelling theories, countless unanswered questions, and a mystery that continues to captivate and terrify us.
Absolutely.
We may never know the true origin of the Joker.
Right.
But perhaps that's the point.
It very well could be.
The mystery is what keeps us coming back, keeps us questioning, keeps us engaged in this eternal struggle between order and chaos.
No one knows where the answers lie.
Until next time, stay curious, stay vigilant.
Absolutely.
And remember, in Gotham, anything is possible.
Even the impossible.
Even the impossible.